Alright, so here we have a 6.8 rifle cartridge from Starline, and this is a straight wall piece of brass for forming to turn to 6.8 SPC or something like that. It's pretty thick as far as the diameter of the brass. That's the wall rather. So it doesn't seat bullets very well if you were to use this for 10mm auto or something like that, if you were to trim it. So you have to do some shenanigans to expand it where it matters until it's been fire formed, and then you can probably just use it as you would 10mm auto. So we're gonna just go ahead with using small pistol primers for this. They're a little different, but they can be used interchangeably if the pressures aren't that different. So we're actually going downwards. We're going to use. This is supposed to be taking a rifle primer, but we're going to use a pistol primer because we're going to be firing pistol rounds. So that's the only thing that's a little funky. And then, of course, like I said, it's not going to fit a bullet until we meddle with it. So the goal is to actually make. This one's been done. This is a 10mm mag, so 10mm Magnum, and this has been chopped down. It's been formed slightly, and we're going to go through all that. And we had to cut it, use a cutter to make the actual perfect length. So we'll get into that in a sec. Alright, so step one is we're just going to sort of eyeball it and maybe put a Sharpie stroke on the original case. And what we want to do is just make it slightly larger than our target length. Use this pipe cutter from Rigid, and there's some know-how with this for sure. What you want to do is, once you get it in there, I'm not going to do it right now, but just do more rotations than you think before you start tightening it. That way you don't sort of bend the piece of brass, malform it more than it can. So it'll be slightly malformed, but if you squeeze too hard, then you're going to have more trouble getting your to resize it later. So once this has been cut, so you can see it's quite a bit has come off with this Rigid. So we're done with this for the rest of this. And before I start using some dies to expand things properly, because it needs to be expanded in order to see bullets, I like just to run these chamfer tools to deburr things. Just so it doesn't mess up any of the dies, and you can do that too, so it feels good. I've already done that a little bit, so it's already had some attention given to it. So before you can, this is a Lee cutter ball. It's got this sharp tool, and then it's got this adapter that you can get some common calibers. This is actually not 10mm, this is a 10mm mag, so I think for $20 you can get this adapter for the cutter, and it's just like $5 extra for if you specify a length that's not pretty common. So this will normally not fit here because this is to spec for the final dimensions of your round. So after you take that 6.8 that length piece that we had from before, it actually doesn't fit because the walls are so thick that it won't fit down. So you have to, before we can use the cutter to make it the exact size, we have to use an expander die to do that. So we're going to get the expander die going, and then we can trim it properly. So here's the expander die we're going to be using to widen the mouth so that we can get this cutting ball to actually start cutting it down to spec size. And all this is an expander die, but it's got an additional, so instead of just expanding the case mouth, it also like expands into the round slightly, so it'll like expand this, but it'll also like expand up to, I don't know, I would say a centimeter, to like a wider, like 10mm / 40 Smith & Wesson diameter. So this is just a standard procedure as far as how you do expansion dies. Like you just put it in with the arm fully raised and the case in there, and then you just start turning it in until it touches, and then what you're going to do is take out your lower the arm, check the case mouth to see if it's like that to the size that you want, and then you can simply make it tighter and tighter until you can start getting this cutter die to go in. So this piece of equipment is a little bit like not part of the standard kit. It's I think that extra throating expansion is what makes this like a unique product. And I like Redding die. I think Lee makes them too, but Redding dies are for some reason just less fussy for me. Alright, so after this has been expanded, you can bring this cutter die, or sorry, this cutter, and you can push it all the way to the blade and just start cranking it, and it'll stop shaving pieces of brass off when the length has been achieved. So depending on your initial chop, this could take a long time. I used to be over careful and like start from way out because I didn't want to like mess it up. Now I go really close because this starts to hurt your hand after a while. So in the end, you'll have a piece of brass that'll be it'll be sort of wonky looking. It'll be straight, and then you'll have sort of like a cocktail glass looking end to it, and then the end won't be beveled anymore because it's been shaven off. But it takes a little trial and error, and then as soon as this has been cut down to size, there's no more work this ball can do. It's just like there's this is resting on the inside of the case, so there's just no more reach for the cut to happen. It's a great tool, actually. I'm surprised that like brass is that easy to cut, to be honest. And finally, after you've done the cutter ball and it's slightly beveled, out of shape, I like to do the deburring again, and I don't know, I forget what it's called, like chamfering it and deburring it. And then I like to run it through a sizing die, and you just do that like you normally would with spent brass or new brass. And what you're trying to do again is just to like make this straight, and you might see different, I don't see it here, but I haven't measured it with proper tools, but you might see like it'll be slightly thinner and then thicker, but this will actually see, or it won't see bullets at this point, but it'll be to spec to like start reloading. So you would at this point again go and treat it like their new brass, and that would actually involve step 2 is to expand the mouth again to seat a bullet, but you know it's not for cutting. It's in this case it's just for seating. So however you would want to do that, and but after you run it through the sizing die, you'll actually have brass that you can work with. And so we've gone from a rifle cartridge to a 6-point or to a 10mm Magnum piece of brass, and the only difference is really the primer pocket and then the thickness of the case. In this case, you'll have a more solid piece of brass that you're working with or shooting with. And that's it.